Welcome back to Probable Magic. This is Modonomics, episode number 10. We're going to talk about drafting by ECV, or expected card value. We've talked in the past, I don't remember the episode number, about expected card value of a booster pack. We looked at M14 and we estimated the expected card value of opening a pack, be it by cracking a pack or doing a draft or a sealed event, by looking at the rares and mythic rares, taking the price that they sell for from one of the online bots. I used the MTGO Academy bot because I can go online and look up all their prices very quickly, estimating the likelihood of that being the card in the rare slot of our pack, depending on it was a rare or a mythic rare for 7/8 or 1/8, and then if it was a mythic rare, there's 1 out of 15 mythic rares in M14, or for a rare, 1 out of 53 rares in M14. Taking the bot sell price multiplied by the frequency of seeing that card, and a 0.7 factor that I like to use to go from the price that I could buy a card from a bot to the price I could sell a card from a bot to get an expected card value. Then adding all of those up and coming up with an expected card value for the pack, and then, because I'm a bit of a nit, adding in some uncommons and commons at some bulk pricing. And that gives me the expected card value of opening that booster pack. And that, of course, is an average value for opening many packs. I would expect the value of opening many packs to average out to this value. Why am I talking about this? It's been suggested, I've heard many times, that drafting an older set will have higher card values. This has been said many times. I've heard it most recently on Limited Resources podcast, where Brian Wong talked about going infinite. And don't get me wrong, I respect the authority and credibility of Mr. Brian Wong in this area, but I like to see things for myself. So I wanted to look at the expected card value across all the different draft formats currently available to me. So that's not the only thing I care about in return value. I also care about having fun and prize value. But let's pretend for the moment that we're choosing a draft based solely on maximizing the expected card value. So I did the same process for the Return to Ravnica block and Innistrad block. And I came up with expected card values of all the different sets. These are expected card values of a booster pack of that set. Admittedly, these prices are a couple days old, but they were all taken at about the same time, so relative to each other, they should be okay. And what do we find? The expected card value of M14 is on the low end. Dark Ascension actually a little bit lower. The highest expected card values are Innistrad and Return to Ravnica. Older formats, with all the others falling somewhere in the middle. The other thing worth considering is what's the ceiling in each format. What is the highest value card we can expect or I shouldn't say expect, that we could hope to possibly pull. If it was our lucky day and we got the best card in the format in our pack, how would we fare? So I listed out the highest value card in each format and the price. I looked at the rarity. They're all mythic rares, which is to be expected. Almost always I think they're going to be mythic rares, but worth taking a look at because I think there's occasions where it could be a rare. And I can't say for certain that's happened, but in the back of my mind I feel like that's happened fairly recently on something, at least for a brief period. And if the highest value card's a rare, then your likelihood of getting it, of course, almost doubles. So we see kind of as expected, the highest ECV set being Innistrad has the highest single value card in Liliana. But these don't necessarily hold true as a just straight one-to-one order being the same between them. You can see the next highest is Voice of Resurgence from Dragon's Maze, which does not have a particularly high expected card value for that pack. So that's a case where we can hope to get lucky and get this high value card, but on average, the average value of the cards we're going to pull is going to be lower than, for instance, Return to Ravnica, where Sphinx's Revelation was the highest value card at $8 lower, but wow, almost 30 cents higher on average for the pack. I should note that these were the prices I could buy the card for, not the price I could sell it for. So there's a little disconnect there, but I think I was feeling lazy when I put that together and I didn't correct for it. So those are the individual sets, but what about draft formats? So there's a couple draft formats out there right now before Innistrad and Avacyn Restored cycle out and Theros cycles in. There's triple M14, of course, which is the one that is new and fresh and everyone's excited about. So the most people would be expected to be drafting triple M14, which means there's the most M14 cards hitting the market. Supply is high relative to demand, which means that value of cards will drop. So if we take 3 packs of M14, expected card value is the lowest. On the other hand, if we take a pack each of RTR, Gatecrash, and Dragon's Maze, the expected card value is higher. The highest expected card value is Innistrad, Dark Ascension Innistrad at $2.79. That's a format I've only tried a handful of times because I was away from Modo for most of the time it was out. It was a lot of fun. I'm not sure that I want to dive into too much of that now when it's about to cycle out, because I'm not really knowledgeable in that format. I haven't played any Avacyn Restored. It's kind of interesting that that value drops back down. My understanding, without having any first-hand experience, is that this was not a particularly good draft format. If anything, though, I'd expect that to make the value of some cards go up, as I think less people were drafting it, but maybe there's just not as many good cards there. So what I take from this is that we can get a much better value if we put on our tunnel vision and look only at card value from drafting Ravnica than M14. And I've had at least a Dragon's Maze and a Gates Crash booster sitting around for a while that I've been talking about using at some point. So let's see if we can get into a Return to Ravnica block draft tonight. This has been Modonomics. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.